Hi guys, it's Maki. In this video, I'm going to show you how I made the TV console and room divider step by step. You can learn so many DIY techniques such as how to paint a laminate surface, make a slat wood wall, and also how to install cabinet doors with hidden hinges. So, stay tuned. 8 years ago, I bought this Ikea EKET wall mount storage box. At that time, my son turned 1 and he started climbing up all the furniture. So I bought these and used them as a floating TV stand in my previous apartment to prevent him from climbing on the TV. 2 years ago, we moved to a new house and I decided to reuse them and make an easy TV console that I can use as a room partition as well. I apologize I don't have enough video footage for this part as I didn't have any intention to be a YouTuber around that time. But I basically cut a plywood into 2 pieces, painted them white, ironed white veneer edge banding, glued the plywood in the bottom of EKET and also the backside of EKET. Secured with the screws from the back, and attached the custom legs that I bought on Etsy. And I was like, ta-da, I'm done. Yep, my DIY skill was that crappy at that time. But now that I have better DIY skills, I decided to upgrade this. Let me show you all the tools and materials that I used for this project. The links to most of the products are in the description. Ikea EKET, 5 of them. Custom-sized furniture legs, matte black spray paint. The furniture legs I ordered were made of metal, so I spray painted them black with this. Plywood. You need 1 piece for the bottom of EKET, another piece for the back, and 5 small pieces for the cabinet doors. I'll show you the dimensions later. Furring strips for slat wood wall. You can find different sizes at a DIY store, or cut a plywood into thin pieces. I bought 2 sheets of MDF board and the plywood store cut them for me. It was $100 including labor fee. It might be cheaper to buy furring strips at a DIY store, but I'm very happy about the purchase as I didn't have to measure the strips and cut. And also, I got leftover board that I could use for other projects. Oscillator tool. Cabinet door handles. Hidden hinges. Torpedo level. Wood glue. Brad nailer. This one I got on Amazon comes with brad nails, but they were too long, so I purchased this brad nail separately. Sandpapers and sanding blocks. Electric sander. Paint primer. I used shellac primer. Paint. I used Bear's Snow White. It's bright white that has a little bit of cream tone. I actually used exactly the same paint for the walls for my rental house. You might think using a different tone of white would be better, and I thought about it, but since I'm using this TV stand as a room partition as well, I wanted to make it look like a partial wall, so that's why I used exactly the same color as the walls. Paintbrush and paint roller. Hole saw and power drill. Wood filler. Now let me show you the dimensions. It seems like Ikea changed the dimensions for new EKET. The one that I have is an older EKET that has shorter width. I made dimensions for the new EKET and also for old EKET in case you have one. Now let's move on to the creating part. I wanted to change the cabinet doors that came with EKET. As you can see, there's no visible hinges, so I just broke the connection part with an oscillator tool. It was connected with a thin metal pole, so it was pretty easy to break. Then I cleaned the surface with a melamine sponge and soap water. Melamine sponge can scrub off dirt only with water, but I used soap water to make it extra clean. I always get these melamine sponges at Japanese store Daiso. They sell everything for $1.75 now. I don't recommend using it daily for cleaning as it basically scratches the surface to scrub off the dirt. But if it's only one-time use or once in a while for deep cleaning, I think it's totally fine. Especially in my case, I was painting it afterwards. I purchased MDF board for cabinet doors at a plywood store called Anderson Plywood. I found leftover MDF and they cut them into specific size very cleanly and charged me only for $10. I already introduced their shop in my previous videos many times, but seriously, their shop is the DIY heaven. The surface was pretty clean, but I sanded it lightly, then sanded the corners to remove the sharp edges. I painted the doors with the primer with the paint roller. I realized I was using a roller for a rough surface, so please make sure to use a roller for a smooth surface instead. It didn't become that rough when it got dried, but it would look better to use a roller for a smooth surface. I also painted EKET with primer. It says you don't have to sand laminate surface before painting with this primer, so I went ahead and painted EKET. I painted the white ones as well as I wanted to match the tone. I didn't paint the inside, so I used masking tape. After I let them dry for a day, I painted them with bare snow white. As you can see in the picture of the previous version, I didn't like the cables were visible, so I drilled the holes on the surface and also the inside of EKET using the hole saw, so I can make the cables go through inside and make them invisible. This was the challenging part for me, installing the cabinet doors with hidden hinges for the first time. This hinge I got on Amazon is very easy to use. You don't have to drill a circle shape like a normal hinge. I followed the instruction that had the specific measurements, but somehow it didn't work, so I kind of had to figure it out on my own. I first drew a horizontal line using the torpedo level. Then I put the hinge just a little bit away from the surface of EKET along the line and marked the holes. There are holes that you can adjust the hinge, so I first screwed the hinge to the cabinet only using these holes. Then I placed the torpedo level on EKET, matched the height of cabinet door, and made the cabinet door a little bit away from EKET, and marked the holes. Then I screwed the hinge to the door. There might be a better way to do, but in this way you can adjust the hinge and tweak it around. And when the door and EKET overlapped perfectly, you can screw all the holes. Then I attached the cabinet door handles. To smooth out the holes I made, I rolled the sandpaper on the screwdriver I had and sanded them. I pasted the veneer edge banding with wood glue as I couldn't use an iron for these little holes. I applied wood filler on the gaps. And I painted it after it got dried. When you see the older version, the partition part was just a white board and it was pretty boring, so I decided to make slat wood wall. I first applied wood glue on the furring strip, then secured it with a clip. I held another slat sideways to measure the distance between slats. I used the brad nailer to strengthen the connection. I did both the front and back. I filled the tiny holes of the nails with wood filler and sanded them after they got dried. Surprisingly, painting the slats was the most painful part. It just took a long time. I painted the groove between the slats first using the thick brush. Wiped the excess paint with the thin brush, then painted the surface with the roller. And this way the surface will be smooth without brush strokes when it's dried.
I had to do it very quick as the paint gets dried, but I also had to do it very carefully as I didn't want to leave the paint strokes. It took quite a long time to finish both primer and paint.
So play your favorite music or listen to podcasts while painting. I was listening to random stand-up comedy, so I was able to finish while laughing at jokes. I placed TV and speakers on the new console. I decided to put the amp inside of EKET, as it was just the right size if I put it sideways. And I always leave it on and adjust the volume with TV remote, so it doesn't matter even if the amp remote doesn't work when the door is closed. I bought this cool black hook at Daiso and glued it on the backside of the TV. I hung the cables on the hook. I made one hole just behind one TV leg. The cables blend in the leg so you won't really see them. I used an extension cord so only this one comes out from the end of EKET.
Before you see the result, if you like this video so far, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Your one click does something with the YouTube algorithm and it would help to reach to the people who are looking for this type of video. And thank you so much for the people who already did. I truly appreciate your support and I've been enjoying reading all the comments you wrote. Alright, thanks for waiting. Here is the result.
This is the most epic DIY project I've done so far. The cabinet door worked really well. The contrast of white and black is beautiful and chic. Slat wall is so well made. And I'm so happy I don't have to see the messy cables anymore. It took time until I achieved the final look, but I'm so happy and proud of myself. I finally got off my butt and completed the project.
Alright, thanks so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye!